Call to order if everyone's ready. The Diversity Inclusion Task Force meeting for October 9th. Lee, could you take the roll, please?
Starting with the council, Councilmember Ryan is absent, Councilmember Nick Farr is absent, Councilmember Wellner is absent, Vice Mayor and Chair Thier,
Here.
Mayor Fredericks.
Here.
And the at-large members Howie Awash,
Here.
Karen Carrera is absent, Ruben Calra, Nushin Latour,
Here.
and Tina Shaw, Pikeday and Vice Chair.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. So we are going to start. We actually have our chief of police here tonight. So we were going to take the agenda a little bit out of order and start with number 3, subcommittee reports and section C, policing. But before that, I did want to take a moment to see if there's any public comment, either in the room or online.
Seeing none online.
Okay, then I think we can go right to that.
And just to clarify, because I see the audience had a question, is for items not on the agenda at this time.
You're talking
I
about
saw
me?
you going,
Oh, I just don't know when I'm supposed to talk.
I know,
Oh, so Lee, can you explain the public comment? If you want to make a comment about something that's not on the agenda, you would make it. Otherwise, when you're up to speak, it would be agenda item number 1, which actually we could take first and then move to the report. So, okay, so seeing that there isn't public comment, we are going to start with agenda item number 1, which is introduction of Reverend Jess Shine from the Community Congregational Church. And I think Tina was going to do that.
Well, I just want to introduce Reverend Jess Shine. She introduced herself to all of us.
Pronouns are they, them?
They introduced us to the Diversity Inclusion Task Force and just wanted to have a chance to let them know what the work is.
Thanks. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. So my name is Jess Shine. I serve as the Minister of Community Congregational. My pronouns are they, them. And I'm new to town, so I wanted to come and say hello and just kind of put a name with some faces and faces with names. My heritage is Northern Mexican, Indian, and Western European. I've served as a minister in congregations for 2 decades, served as a police chaplain and a chaplain in hospice and hospital settings. And Community Congregational, if you're not familiar with it, has a long history of justice work and building bridges. So if there's some way that we can be an ally in the work that you're doing in Tiburon, we'd love to be. And we're having a community dance for the queer community at the end of October. So if you have any queer friends who'd like to come, please let them know. That's it.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Okay, Nushin?
Hi, have you advertised the dance yet to any of the town newsletter or?
No, we're just starting to do that. Yeah, you mean the ARC?
We have ARC and then there's Town of Tiburon and Chamber of
Tib
Commerce.
Talk.
There's just various, and next door, there's a lot of little
Yeah.
local outlets.
Yeah, that's super helpful to know. We haven't started doing that, but thank you for the information. It'll be helpful. Yeah, I have a couple posters too, if that's too old school. I can
No,
do
it-
electronic.
We're old school in Tiburon.
I like to call it retro, but that's fine.
Yeah, posters are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be cool.
Do you have a certain central? You're based out of or?
Just up the hill, Rock Hill Road. Yeah. We're affiliated with the United Church of Christ, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. But it's a pretty interspiritual place, I would say. Yeah,
Near future.
sure. Yeah, we'd love to have that, Chief.
Make sure you.
For sure. As long as it's not on a ticket.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry, I do like humor.
He had to throw that in there.
Just, yeah,
Yeah.
just drive the speed limit and then you won't have to get the number on the
I
ticket.
actually do. I've met a few people on my rear end from Tiburon. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your,
Cha-ching, right? Okay.
yeah.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I think at this point, we will see if there's any public comment on that.
Seeing none.
Okay, seeing none, no public comment. So let's move now to the subcommittee reports for policing. We do have our chief here, so we're moving that report up out of courtesy. So I am going to allow you to take it away.
Okay, now I think this is on, but everybody can hear me, right? Just a little bit of update from the police department. Most of the cars we were talking, Tina and I were talking, no, wait. Yes, regarding the cars when I walked in. So we've almost converted all of the white cars, the white vehicle with the old graphics to black and whites with the new graphics, which is challenging. Also, getting new vehicles to replace the old vehicles that were completely falling apart. So we're working new vehicles into the process, but it takes 3 to 4 months to get them outfitted. And then we're having some problems with the computers. We also switched over our radio systems with Marin County. So there's been a big switch over from old radio frequency to a new radio frequency. Sadly, my radio doesn't work, so I had to borrow another person's radio. So that's another thing that we've been working on. We've talked before that we're full staff, and town council approved the ultimate hiring of Denny to police officer status, which has been great. He is rocking it in FTO. And I'm not sure if everybody knew this, but he graduated top in his class for report writing. Very proud of him. The other thing that I want to tell you, we talked about that program Lights On. I believe Karen shared that information with you, and what it entails is we may pull a person over for a headlight or some kind of mechanical infraction. And what we can do is give them a voucher to go get it fixed. So instead of actually issuing a ticket to this individual, we can give them a voucher. I think it's up to $200. It might be more than that to get the vehicle fixed. So what had happened before, we were in the onboarding process, but the period closed. So then we ended up on a wait list. The captain attended a meeting the other day. We are now officially on the list to join the program. They'll be giving us an update on a quote to start the cost of funding this program and the onboarding procedures. The one thing that we shall be proud of, we'll be working on becoming the first in Marin County to be on this, basically this collaborating with this group. So we'll be the first in Marin County. We've been the first for Marin County for a couple of things, so I'm proud of this one too. I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
Question?
Yeah.
Just a clarification, there's a name for a program where you give vouchers for vehicle condition infractions. What is the name of the
It's called Lights On.
Lights On?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I think Karen had, I think there's an attachment that Karen had wanted to be addressed. And I think one of the reasons we wanted to make sure it was addressed was that, you know, one of the creations of this task force was for accountability and transparency. And we think you're awesome. But for the community, we have to sort of like put this out there and say, hey, give us an update about what's going on. I think all the responses were terrific. I don't know if you guys had a chance to review the attachment.
Okay.
Yeah, Lights On sounds terrific. It sounds like they're really busy, so they won't be able to take anybody on, but everything else seems reasonable, and
Okay.
and it's nice to see the, you know, building the diversity within the department, and you know, taking a very proactive leadership. So we thank you, Chief.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I have just one question, which is, I love how this program addresses some of the wealth disparity and who gets tickets. Have we thought about also working at the other end of the spectrum on all of the sort of crimes that go, I don't know, unnoticed to some extent, at the other end of the spectrum? Like, give an example of just the off-leash laws that people violate quite frequently. And up on Ring Mountain, you'll see that the entire trails are just polluted. And I know that's not an area that you govern, but I'm just giving this example. They're just deteriorated because of people kind of running their dogs, and them using the bathroom, right, in public
Dog waste.
spaces, but there's also blackies. And I'm just curious if we think about kind of, you know, policing of all ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, actually, we're out at Blackie's pasture frequently reminding people to put their dogs on leash. And if they're not, then we will issue them a citation. Majority of times, they have the leash and they'll put the dogs on leash. If not, they're sternly warned that you need to carry a leash and you need to leave. Yeah, and we've also been out on Old Rail Trail a lot. There's sandwich boards up that are slowing the traffic down for people that are on e-bikes. And tomorrow I have a meeting with the chief in Mill Valley regarding e-bikes and what we'll start implementing we've already banned with the help of Kimberly McGrath, school superintendent here. They're banning Super 73s at Del Mar School, which is a great process of basically outlawing these bikes. Children shouldn't be riding them. You have to have a driver's license to operate them to be 16 and over. So that excludes Del Mar students. So proactive role there. I have Officer Harris, who's in charge of the bike program, routinely going out there, walking the yard to make sure that they're not bringing those bikes to school. I believe November 1st is when that's going to be implemented for no Super 73s. But what we're trying to incorporate, as we all know, we want to educate before we start issuing citations. So the first offense will be issuing a citation, so to speak, but it requires the child and the parent to come to a class that's going to be put on by Mill Valley Police Department and Tiburon Police Department. There'll be a 4-hour safety course. There'll be classroom time and instructional time on how to operate your bike safely. So I'll keep everybody updated on that. And basically, I want to be in line with Mill Valley and Central Marin, so we're all on the same page. And obviously Belvedere will be on the same page too.
No, I just want to say thank you for that update. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
I had a question about the Super 73s. Can you tell by the look of the bike that it's a Super 73 or does it say Super 73? How do you know?
Super 73s are distinctly different than the Class 1 and the Class 2s. They actually look like little mini motorbikes. They usually don't have pedals. They just have the little, I guess you call them foot plates. So that's banned.
How fast do they go?
Up to 40 miles an hour.
Can I have a follow-up question?
Sure, of
Yeah.
course.
And so another question I wondered too, I assume there will be, if there isn't already, in the last session, bills that will get signed into law about vendors selling those kinds of bikes where you can override the cap on how fast it can go. But aside from identifying that the bike is going fast and documenting that, can you by the look of a bike tell if it's one of the ones can be adjusted?
Majority of the time, yes, but the other problem is Class 2s can be modified through an app to go faster, and that
Yeah.
you can't tell.
You can't tell.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Any more questions, comments? So I just want to thank you so much. You're doing an amazing job, as is our police force, and congratulations to Denny, Officer Denny. That's amazing to
Thank
get
you.
that award as well. So
Yeah, thank you.
congratulations and thank you so much for coming and your report.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so now I think what we're gonna do is, I don't know what to do. Okay, we'll move on to community engagement events.
Excuse Chair,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Um,
another public comment?
It looks like I have a public comment.
Perfect.
It appears Karen Carrera has joined online.
Thank you. Perfect.
So we're not noticed for her to participate in the meeting on Zoom, but she can make a public comment as well. So it seems like maybe now's a good time to do that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
We will follow your lead, Lee, and take a public comment.
Okay, you can go ahead, Karen.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. I really feel under the weather. And I don't want to get anybody else sick. And I just want to thank the chief for attending the meeting and giving us her update. And I attached you guys saw that it was on the agenda, what I based on my interview with her on 2 different occasions. about the RIPA data, about the, you know, the Lights On program, as well as the other, you know, the diversity hires, how things were going in terms of bias sync training. So I'm really grateful that things are going well. I just hope that we can keep pressure or remember to get the Lights On, see if we can apply for grants for the Lights On program. So my question was, what do we have to do? Maybe I missed it, because but what's the next step so that we can get that program going in Tiburon?
Karen, right now we're waiting for, they're giving us an updated quote. So once I receive that quote, I can let the task force know what we're looking for grant money. And then a checklist of onboarding procedures that we'll be working on. I'm thinking within the next month or two, we should be up and ready to go.
Okay. And are there any other programs such as that one available for the community that may be helpful that you know of?
Not off the top of my head, but we're continuously searching for new ideas and new thoughts of, you know, ideas to help out the public and build community support.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. I hope you feel better, and thank you for the report and for all of the attachments. They're super helpful. Thank you. Okay, I think we're going to work our way upside down. So now we're going to go to subcommittee reports. We'll go to town staffing. And Tina, if you have a report, you could give that.
I think last time we met, the town commissioners were in progress of taking the bias sync training. And we were planning to send an update reminder. I don't know if Lee, you have an update.
I don't have an update about that, unfortunately, in Greg's absence. I know that it went out. I know that it's in progress, but I'm not sure if the reminder or the extension or what the extension date was. I think that was where we last left. It was going to be extended. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that information together in absence, and I don't believe it's gone out to town staff yet. Hopefully we'll have another update for you next month.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tina. So now we're going to go to is there any public comment on that?
Karen would like to
Okay,
make a public
Perfect.
comment.
Okay, great.
No, I don't.
Oh, sorry, Karen, your hand was raised. I'm gonna lower your hand now.
That was your comment. That was your comment. No, I was just kidding. Okay, let's go. Let's go to subcommittee reports, community engagement and events.
Yeah, I'll take the lead on that one. So just to lead the way, we I think presented last month, we have Diwali coming up, Festival of Lights celebration, Saturday, November 2nd, 2 to 5 p.m. It's going to be quite a celebration. Lots of performances, lots of food, lots of kid activities. We want to make it very appealing to the community to get encouraged and get dressed up. So there will be like Indian attire to purchase, accessories. There will be prizes for those who dress up the best. And, we want to encourage everyone to come out. So if you guys can just pray for good weather, I promise you it's going to be a great event. We got also we're trying with these events, we're trying to get more youth involvement, and it's nice. We got a couple nice charitable organizations where we have about 15 volunteers to come out and help the event. And these kids range in the age of from 14 to 17. So it's nice to get some youth involvement in enhancing cultural literacy. That being said, that's the one event coming up. And I know Tina and I were just sort of talking off the cuff how I ran into someone who said she would love to do Nowruz again. And then I think she ran into someone ready to do the Asian American Festival again. So I think one of the thoughts would be in the coming months to sort of maybe put something out in TikTok. What events would you like to see? Does anyone want to lead an event and be a champion? And then we can sort of evaluate and see what we want to do. That was sort of some initial thoughts. I don't know if you have any other comments, Tina.
No, just one on Diwali is thank you for putting together the website for that event. I've been able to communicate that to lots of people who are now making Tiburon a destination for the Diwali celebration. So really appreciative.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, thank the chamber, like Melanie and Britt Doyle have been helpful for just getting that out there. So we have a link to share, which is great. So thanks to the chamber.
Fabulous.
That is really fabulous. So we will have people coming and staying in our hotels and eating in the restaurants. So it helps our businesses as well. So that's really good to see. And thank you, Ruben and Tina and everyone for all of your work on Diwali. It's going to be fabulous. So I did announce it last night at the candidate forum, but for everyone listening, for you, Karen, Diwali is going to be, do you want to give all the dates and the times?
Oh, it's just, yeah, Saturday, November 2nd, 2 to 5 p.m.
Perfect. Then that's downtown Tiburon, right? Okay, perfect. Downtown Tiburon, Main Street. Okay, let's move along.
Can I ask one more question just on events, which was the wine festival location was amazing. Is that a venue that could be a possibility for other events in the future? Maybe just a recommendation to consider it.
I'm gonna let Lee, oh, no,
Oh,
go ahead, go ahead.
Yen Bink
And
at the
then,
time had mentioned that is a location, but I think Chamber organizes the wine
yes,
festival.
okay, I would let Lee respond.
The short answer is it's not our property, so
Yeah.
I don't want to say no, it's not an option. It seems like a pretty good spot down there. But it's not our property, so we'd have to find a way to request other permission to use it.
Who owns the property?
One of the significant downtown property owners. I'm not quite
Okay,
sure
we'll
which one.
figure that out, but thank you so much. Okay, now we are moving on to our,
All right, point over to take public comment on the community engagement. I know there's no one that.
no, I thought I did. Thank you so much. Thank you. We will take public comment on the community engagement.
Seeing none.
Francisco, do you have comment? No. No, thank you. I appreciate that. We strive for perfection, but rarely achieve it. Yeah, it's life, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go to the Diversity Inclusion Task Force Community Awards Report. And there has been some exciting developments. Howie, do you want to report out?
Sure, I guess it would be considered reporting. I was thinking more we can all talk about
The
it.
time, the date?
yeah,
Okay, the place?
so-
Okay,
The date, I'm gonna check our message to know because I forgot.
I
Um,
think it was October 28th.
October 28th,
I'm
great.
not sure. Yeah.
So we are thinking of hosting it at the Yama store. And then we're thinking about two separate things. So there is one that we're thinking to host a sit-down dinner reception for the attendees and the award recipient. And then there is another one where we want to just host like a refreshments kind of gathering where a larger crowd could attend. And I think we didn't decide on what date is gonna be which, but October 28th, I'm thinking will be the dinner. It is on a Monday, but it might be really cool and we would be able to accommodate about 20 people for that sit-down dinner.
I think it sounds terrific. The only question I have is, do you think we have enough time to orchestrate in advance since it is coming up in a couple weeks?
I think it would be putting the actual dinner together. I don't think it's gonna take that much time or effort. But I did have a question if there was a budget that is allocated for this. So that's one question. But the other thing is, in terms of getting the invites out, do we already know who we want to invite? And with that, I don't know if it's gonna be necessarily enough time if we're, trying to get people to come to the award. And I don't know, people have plans, so I don't know if we need to send them a month's notice or maybe two. But with the holidays coming up, I thought it might be really cool if we were able to do it before people, travel for Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think that was the concern, is to have it before, but maybe since the award recipient is kind of a surprise, do you
Uh-huh.
think having the reception first and then doing a dinner later might make sense to announce the award?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of less pressure in terms of,
Date.
well, just in terms of the date for the dinner could be later,
Can be
right?
later.
To celebrate the recipient
Absolutely.
and then the
I
the
think that might be
reception.
really cool, actually.
Okay,
if we
so
do it
maybe
that
the
way.
reception on
Yeah.
the 28th then.
Yeah,
Okay,
Ruben, did you think that was?
Yeah, I agree. Just having planned a lot of stuff, like 2 weeks notice is pretty quick. And I think a lot of times we want to get the word out at least a month in advance. And I think
Yeah.
the dinner would be a great, actually, opportunity to mesh and socialize and meet other community members. And I think, one time could be maybe after Thanksgiving, before the
Mhm.
Christmas rush. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking usually December, mid-December, early December is generally
Pretty
slow,
good.
like December 8th week before kids go out. So that could be a great time maybe for dinner. Just, I know we're sort of brainstorming and talking, but.
Yeah, we are. No, absolutely.
And yeah, and my experience organizing community events is that unless you give them a deadline that you're willing to ignore, but you don't let them know for the RSVP, everybody or most of the people will wait till like a week or even a couple of days before,
Mm.
and then you're going crazy for a while. So the best thing you can do is give them a deadline, but that sounds less than gracious. So you kind of have to balance what you think would work.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion. And I think like maybe we should come up with a list of, who we're inviting and then brainstorm, how are we getting the word out? And like you said, maybe do an RSVP where there is a deadline. Yeah.
And then I think the one important thing is also just addressing budget, because it will cost something to throw this event.
Yes.
Hopefully, I think we do have money. I think we want to acknowledge and celebrate. I guess the question is, what would be a budget, and do we have to come up with that right now? Do you have any thoughts about like how much it might be?
Yeah, I have another question. I must have missed a step. Who is making the decision about this acknowledgement award?
I think it was the committee, the ad hoc committee,
An ad hoc
which
committee?
was
you-
Ruben,
Howie and
Howie and me. But we
Okay.
can always take one more
yeah, if
you're-
anyone wants to join.
if anyone wants to join it. Yeah, we're trying to make it a surprise, so it's hard to figure out how to make it a surprise if we do it here with everyone here. So if anyone has an idea about that, we could do it in a public meeting, but then, the cat's out of the bag, right? Everybody's gonna
So
know.
I have a suggestion
Sure.
for the committee, especially with something as important as diversity inclusion kind of concept. Usually the people who make decisions like that have some experience in the field, like Tina. And it's really important, I think, if we're going to do this, that it has some gravitas instead of just being some um, task of our committee. I'm just wondering, and I'm just asking you to consider it, rather than calling it an award, call it, because that to me envisions throwing treats to your doggy when he's off leash. Maybe call it an acknowledgement, because then that to me invites the community to look at it and consider it, rather than be mystified about who gets an award and who gets the award and how it came about. That's just a suggestion. I don't have any commitment to either one. It just seemed a little more inviting to call it an acknowledgement, especially since we don't have that many of us with a lot of professional expertise in what really works when we acknowledge and award people. And by works, I mean serves as an inspiration.
Okay, any more input?
I guess the one question would be, if the reception would be coming up before our next meeting, is it possible to get a budget for at least the reception, and then we can rediscuss the other? I'm pretty sure I don't have the numbers, and I know Greg's not here,
Yeah.
but I think we should have. I think we've been under budget for the past couple events, and so I think there might be something in there.
Okay, what is the amount that we think?
Rough number for the reception.
Do we have
I mean,
a
we can-
head count of like how many people we're expecting? Because I think that might help us identify.
I mean, I would say at least 50, about 50. And probably we would try to get things donated as well. So
Like drinks and stuff.
maybe even food.
Oh, maybe even food, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we maybe start with 2,000 and then see if there is any additional that may be needed, but then that way we're not super underquoting? I don't know, Ruben, do you think that's a reasonable number or
For a reception,
for reception?
yeah, I think, yeah, 2,000 should be sufficient, just be, especially if it's just like refreshments and,
Yes.
and like appetizers, and it depends if you like have music or anything else there. But I think that should be sufficient. Do we?
Okay, do you want to, let me just see something. Do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to support the awards / acknowledgement / celebration for the Diversity Inclusion Task Force for the reception of $2,000.
Second.
Can we,
Third,
So what you're asking for a budget amendment from the town council
no.
or an amendment, or are you taking
Um,
a subsidy from your particular
You're taking it
budget,
from the
the existing budget
yeah, the
for the
existing budget,
DITF?
Yes.
Yeah, clarify that as part of the motion.
yeah, and we'd be taking this from the overall budget that was allocated for community engagements.
okay, I will second that. And Lee,
it.
Lee, do you want to call the roll?
You need to third.
A, take public comment. B, I don't think that I mean, this is just listed as an agenda item. I don't think there's any action listed. And I don't want, I'm not trying to run out of the if there are an action item listed as part of it.
I think we can take action on this. It doesn't say discussion, but I'm happy to defer that to our attorney who's unfortunately not here. But what we can do is we can make the motion. And then if the attorney says you shouldn't have done that, it doesn't count anyway. So that's how we're going to proceed because we don't have time to have the next meeting.
Right.
Yeah, I think we can because it is on here as an item. So that's kind of how we're gonna go.
Sounds like maybe perhaps the reporter used to work for a lawyer.
Yeah. So do you want?
I would recommend making your motion contingent upon a balance in the budget, because I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, so and that's what I meant. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be based on yeah.
And you do have you have a pretty healthy community engagement budget, but I don't have the numbers in front of me, so.
Perfect. So we have so many contingencies on this motion, but we're gonna try to see what, yeah, okay. So can we,
We should do public comment, though.
yes, of course, public
So
comment.
I'll recognize Karen.
Thank you. I think it's great that it's called an award, and I think there are many people in Tiburon who have done great things towards diversity and inclusion. And, it's, I don't think you have to have an expertise in DEI or a certificate or, any of those things to be someone who could be a recipient of this award, as long as you've just shown that you are committed to the ideals, to the values of inclusion and diversity. So I like it that the committee has called it, the Diversity or Inclusion Award, or I think it's a great name. I think people like getting awards, people like being, acknowledged for doing good things in the community. I think it's a good thing to do that. I think it's wonderful. And I'm just wondering, why is October 28th just the best date, Howie, for you, for YEMA to host the event? Just maybe even a week more to give us more time to advertise the event?
We at YEMA are flexible, Karen. I think we just, as a committee, we're trying to come up with a date, and that was one date that was suggested. So if you guys have any other suggestions on dates, we're open and flexible.
Yeah, and
Okay,
also.
there is a motion on the floor, so we're gonna have to vote on it.
There's a
And-
motion
and-
and a second?
There's a motion and a second.
So we'll be closing public comment.
Mhm.
Okay. One
I had
sec.
one more public comment, sorry.
You're not public comment, you're here.
I've been patiently waiting. Okay, so can I comment real quick? So in favor of allocating the budget towards the event, agree with Karen that possibly considering other dates when you might get more attendance could make sense. Monday nights are tough. And the last thing I wanted to just acknowledge was Alice's comment in terms of what role, right, can experts play? And I think the role that I have played for these awards in the past is to write a letter of reference for the awardee. And so if that's something the committee is looking to possibly consider, right, for this award, I think there are probably several people who could play that kind of a role. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we have to vote because we've got a motion on the floor. Do you want to take the
You
roll?
don't have, it doesn't have to be roll call if you don't want. one.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
No, that's not, that's not the time. Okay, okay, thank you. We have actually come to the end of our agenda. So I will, I don't have
So
to
in
take a
terms
motion
of the
to
date,
adjourn.
I'm so sorry.
We'll-
Are we not
we'll-
able to?
We'll talk
figure
about
it out?
that. Yeah,
Got it. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
So let's, we're at the end of the agenda. So what I'm gonna do now is, ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
I.
Any opposition? Ruben? Okay, thank you, everyone, and thank you so much.